Hello and welcome to episode 2 of my Salem tutorial series. This episode is going to be on the Salem starting tutorial, but I thought I would start us off in the login screen, just so I can try and be thorough. Now I hope you all see the links that I put in the description. One of them was how to start, in other words how the website to go to, and you have to register an account. You'll be able to set a username and password, and then you'll be able to log in and play the game. It's, like I say, a free to play game. They will never ask you for any money, and the cash shop is totally optional. You know, there's those of you out there that will wish to enhance the game, whereas I get so much enjoyment from just playing the basic game, I have no need of that. So anyway, without further ado, let's log in. Right, okay, now ignore the silly names. I'll get to alts at a later episode. For now, we're going to create a new character. So click on the new character button, and now it will start us in the game. So as you can see, we're this sort of ghosty blob. That's because we haven't assigned whether we're male or female yet. And down here it tells us speak to the man or woman to choose your gender. The idea of this episode is to step you through the tutorial, that we step through the tutorial together, and I will complement the game's help by showing you what to do, thereby making it a very easy playthrough. The starting tutorial, Salem's that is, will cover the basics, which I will dissect and look at in later episodes. The starting tutorial sort of bombards you with information, so don't worry about that, because I am going to do this properly. I'm going to separate all of the information out into separate episodes, just like I've done in the worm one. But I will also mention some things that it's good to do before and after you leave this tutorial, which the game doesn't tell you about, which I do know about. So where I can enhance the tutorial, I will. Okay, so let's start this tutorial. If you're a man, you're going to right click on this person. If you're a lady, you're going to right click on this woman. So I'm going to click on this man because I'm not in a transvestite mood today. So let's right click. There you go, it says I'm a boy. Right, now it's telling us to right click on the nearby gate. The nearby gate is this over here. So what you have to do, left click to walk. Now you'll notice first of all, with this game, it's very collision detective. So it's like most games are that are isometric. What you have to do is walk outwards away from the obstructing object and around it. It's quite simple and you'll get used to it. It will annoy you to start with, but trust me when I tell you, if you have the patience and perseverance with this game, you will get rewarded tenfold. So anyway, we're going to right click on the gate. There we go. Now it's telling us to change our appearance because we may not want to look like this. So to do that, we can do it in two ways. First of all, we can right click on this painting tub and it will change the colour of our facial hair and our hair. Or we can right click on this guy and it will give us a different haircut. So let's do that. First we're going to click on the painting tub.
You're looking fabulous.
Oh yeah, and look at the colour of my hair's changed. I'm now black. Well, my proper colour is sort of dark brown. Let's see if we can get that. Yeah, there we go, mousy coloured. There we go. Right, let's now talk to this guy, see if we can get ourselves a trendy haircut for the 1700s. I was mistaken in the last episode when I said 1600s, because that would have been in the 15s. So anyway, early 1700s. So here we go, let's right click him. Notice now we've got a different hairstyle. If I right click again, see, so you can swap and choose. It's not a great deal, but I'll go with that one for now. I mean, I don't have a beard or moustache, but it's only my avatar, so it doesn't really matter. If we right click on this, that's where you can change your facial hair. So right click again, you see it's changing all the time. How do we look there? I wish that ship's mast wouldn't be in the way. Oh, there we go. So that's how you change your facial hair. That does your haircut, that does the colour of your hair, that does your facial hair. So there we go. Right, now it's telling us to give the captain our name. So if we go over to the captain, who is just over there, right click on him.
What you be calling yourself? I ain't got all day.
So let's put in my name, which is Gamester. You're off. The name's already gone. Typical.
What you be calling yourself? I ain't got all day.
Okay, let's give the full unabbreviated name. There we go. Right, now it says right click on the boat to sail to the new world. So off we go on a beautiful voyage. Well, it's not really, it's going to zone us straight in. So just right click anywhere on this boat. Okay. So it says now, speak to His Majesty's emissary and pay for the passage, safe passage you've received. So we right click now on this guy over here.
The only thing between you and the new world is a handful of silver. Pay up and off you go.
So I don't have the money.
Oh my. Short on silver, you say? Well, I have a solution for that.
You seem to like the silver for your journey, so he's telling us to talk to this Indian chief. So right click on this Indian chief.
Oh, goodness me. It appears Chief Lenderhand has paid your passage to the new world. But as with most things in Salem, everything comes at a cost. His tribe requires that you assist them in some of their daily chores before you are to be released. While in his tribal valley, you will be safe from the majority of dangers in Salem. But once freed and on your own, that will all change. To begin, he asked that you feed their sacred squonk, Nubs, a hickory nut. You should do so now.
Right, okay, don't ask me what a squonk is. Even though I can see a squonk in front of me, I have no clue what a squonk is. Anyway, what it's telling us is it's saying, feed this beast a hickory nut. Where do we get hickory nuts? Okay, this is a hickory tree right here. So if we right click on the tree, anywhere on it, and left click, pick nuts. Okay, left click this little bag sack icon and it brings up your inventory. You can see that we picked 2 nuts from the tree. To feed Nubs, left click next to him. You might want to zoom in a bit so you can see. Left click on a nut so it appears on your cursor, and then right click on Nubs.
Excellent! But gathering resources from trees and bushes is not the only way to harvest materials. Sometimes it is as simple as collecting something from the ground. Now that Nubs has a full belly, he's feeling particularly playful and wishes to play with a tumbleweed. Gather a tumbleweed rolling on the ground in the area and bring it to Nubs.
Right, okay. So that sounds clear enough, doesn't it? But you're asking, what's a tumbleweed? Well, if we look up here in the top right corner, you'll see that there is a mini-map, and this brown circular item is a tumbleweed. So we are currently facing north. This is the north up here, this is west, this is east and south, as you know. So the tumbleweed is just to our west. So if we look and scroll out and then walk over here, oops. Oh, he's gone up there now, so let's walk up there. In fact, something's going wrong here because that's not north, east, south and west. It must be this way. Sorry, my apologies. Already I've got disorientated, but then you'd expect that from me. Here we go, there's a tumbleweed. See it rolling around? So we zoom in a bit and walk over here. Then what you have to do, left click to get close, then keep right clicking manically on the tumbleweed. Don't worry if you don't succeed at first. It took me a little while to get used to it, but I'll show you again just to be on the safe side. So there's another tumbleweed we can see over here. Here he is. Get close to him, then repeatedly right click and it eventually will start auto walking and pick it up. And you see now we've got in our inventory 2 tumbleweeds. Okay, right, job done. Let's now go back to Nubs and feed him a tumbleweed. Or give him a tumbleweed. I don't think he's going to eat it. I think he wants to play with it. Mind you, a squonk could do anything with a tumbleweed as far as I'm aware. Now, where is the squonk? Oh, there he is. There's Nubs. So what we do, walk near to Nubs, left click on the tumbleweed, so it's on your cursor again, right click on Nubs.
It appears Nubs is now satisfied with a full belly and a playful toy. The Chief would like to remind you that all material things in Salem can be taken from you, most especially by other pilgrims. The only thing a man cannot steal from you is your mind and your experiences. To emphasize this wisdom, he asks that you learn your first skill, childish things.
Okay, so right off the bat there, the game's warned you that not only the monsters can knock you out, by knocking you out, they will put one of your humours, these are your humours up here, the coloured bars that I mentioned previously. If any of them go to 0, you do not die, you get called you get knocked out. Okay, so if any of these, including my blood, goes to 0, you get knocked out. And you'll be lying on the ground with stars going around your head for quite a while. I'm quite sure I'm going to get knocked out eventually, so I will show you what happens. For now though, it's telling us we need to learn the skill childish things. The way this game works, Salem, the beautiful way this game works, is you unlock skills as you go. It does not give you everything at the beginning, like some games. You slowly unlock them, and trust me when I tell you the word slowly. To bring up your skills, left click this window here, with the, it's got the symbol of the dollar, in actual fact, how about that? So left click on that symbol, and it shows us now this window. Don't worry about it for now. I'm just going to focus on the tutorial because time is ticking by too quickly. Left click on this item, childish things. You'll see over here it gives you some text. Read it if you wish. It tells you about what it will do. And then left click the green glowing button buy.
Well done! Each skill you learn will unlock new buildings, craftables, and skills that can further your advancement. Education is not always easy, nor free. Many times you must study the world around you to gain a respect and understanding of it. The Chief asks that you next learn survival skills. However, in order to do so, you first must gather or craft items known as inspirationals. Study them, and then spend the accumulated points on the skill.
Right, okay, so the game has just told us that we need to learn this skill here, survival skills. Now over here on the left is the proficiencies, which I've said about already. Down here in the bottom half of this window is where the skills will slowly unlock. To start with, you can only see these 2. Once we learn survival skills, it will unlock many sub skills, as you will see. In order to learn this survival skill, we will need to get our flora and fauna to 200. Currently it is at 0, and we will need to get our hunting and hideworking to 200, and currently that is at 0. In order to do that, it's told us we need to create inspirationals. Okay, so if we come down here now and look at this, I will cover these as they become relevant to us. For now, the relevant one is this crafting window, denoted by the hammer and anvil. Left click on that, and you will see there is only one box unlocked at the moment, which is the inspirationals. Now this is a fantastically fun way to unlock your skills, because you can create items which will give you it will give you points into these proficiencies, and once they get high enough, you've guessed it, you can then learn the skill. So let's click on inspirationals. Now there's 2 to start with, but trust me when I tell you there is hundreds eventually. Let's click the first one first, masks. Okay, now in masks there will be loads that are appearing, but at the moment there is only one. Let's left click that one, maple mask, moustache mask. Okay, in order to make this inspirational, we will need 2 maple leaves, 2 grass and 1 twig. Now, while we're doing this, okay, we will click this arrow here, and what that will do is get the window out of our way so we can see what we're doing. And you see it's put it over here. So do that. Zoom out, because now we need to find these items. To get twigs, you right click on any tree, so let's walk over here, right click on this tree, left click, pick branch. Notice it will pick them and put them in our pocket, so we'll pick 3. There we go. Left click away when you want to stop. So we've got the branch, now we need 2 grass. So let's zoom out a bit more and let's take a walk around to see where the grass is. Grass just grows on the ground as you would expect, but it's not this green grass, it's clumps, as you're going to see. So if we walk around a bit, I'll be able to demonstrate to you what grass is exactly. Now in the tutorial I've noticed it's always a bit scarce, but it doesn't matter, it will be here somewhere, we will find it. Now please forgive me if this episode goes into 2 parts. I've got a feeling the time is going to go and we're still not through the tutorial, so I will just carry it on to a second part. I hope you forgive me for that. It's only because I'm trying to show you everything thoroughly, not trying to skip or rush through. As you can see, trying to find a piece of grass is proving difficulty enough, and that's just a piece of grass. You see, if we was out in the real, once we're out of the tutorial, there are some severely good tricks you can use in order to get just about any resource you want, and I will be covering all of that for you. I'm going to show you how to play like a pro. What type of pro I don't know, but we'll see. What it equates to is you will get much more enjoyment out of this game. Okay, wow, the grass is proving very difficult to find. This game does not hand you anything on a platter. If you want something, you have to earn it, just like with Worm. And just like Worm, this is equally as fun to play. At least I hope you will find it that way. Okay. I know there's got to be some grass around here. This is getting crazy. But this can happen to you sometimes. You badly need an item and you just can't find it. Like I say, there are ways to find everything, and I will show you them ways. In the tutorial though, I'm a bit locked in, as in I can't go doing all the tricks that I will be showing you once we leave the tutorial. I'm restricted to having to use the tutorial. It would appear that this tutorial has loaded without any grass growing in it. Oh, there we go. There is our first bit of grass. I'm tempted to take a picture of it. Right, okay, so that's what a bit of grass looks like. Zoom in, right click on the grass, left click pick. There you go. We've now got 1 bit of grass, but we need 2. So let's now try and quickly find a second bit of grass. This occasionally happens. It can get very slightly laggy. It's not a major issue. With any online game, you're going to get issues of that nature. We just dismiss it like a true pro. Okay, let's try and hopefully find some more grass. This is crazy. I've never in all the times I've played the tutorial found grass this difficult to find. It knows that I'm now recording. Oh, there we are. There's another bit of grass. Where is it? Oh, no, it's not. It just looks like grass. Okay, we'll keep looking. Yeah, sometimes I'm sure it just doesn't spawn correctly, the tutorial, because I can't see how one bit of grass for the whole area map is sufficient, really. Do you? But again, we won't let that put us off, because I know how good this game is. So I really don't care if a bit of grass is just not there. This is insane though. Oh, there we go. There's our second bit of grass. Cool, thank goodness for that. I'd have had to have ended the episode just because I couldn't find no grass. Right click the grass, left click pick up. Right, okay, that just leaves us with the maple leaves. And guess what? There's a maple tree. You will get used to what the different trees are. They are very pretty and you will get used to all of them. Right click the maple tree, left click pick leaves. And you will see we get 2 leaves. Now, because these components are a part of the recipe I've got up, that's why they're coloured. If I close the crafting window, see they've gone to their correct colours now. So it's highlighting the components you're going to use in your pocket for the recipe. So if I bring it back up, okay, we now have the components necessary. Left click craft. If you had multiple of each, you'd craft all. We're just going to do craft. I'm going to tell you why you have to be careful in the future about using the craft all. For now, we just craft. Okay, we now have our first inspirational. Inspirational. Okay, now if we hover over it, it tells you what proficiencies it's going to give you points to. So if we bring back up by left clicking on the all-seeing eye, it shows us this window again. Now if we hover over it, we know that we need 200 fauna, 200 hunting and hideworking. If we hover over it, you can see that we're going to get 200 fauna and 200 hunting and hideworking. Perfect. Right click on the inspirational, left click on study. Okay, notice it's put them 2 bars up. Notice now we can buy the survival skill. Notice what happens when I left click buy, as in all the items appearing here. If we scroll down, it tells you what it's going to unlock. So let's left click buy.
Uh-oh, it looks like you've just lost black bile studying that inspirational. One of the 4 humours that governs our bodies. Your black bile governs your mental energy resource. There are several ways to replenish your humours in the world, but the simplest is always just to nourish your body with some nice food. Gather some berries, nuts, or other food from the area and consume it.
Right, okay. So, first of all, when we studied that inspirational to give us the points necessary to learn the skill, it used our mind power, which is the black bile. That's what the game calls it, black bile. It's mind power. Why is it mind power? Because when you study, learn something, it uses a percentage of that bar up. As you see, it didn't use much, but the higher the inspirational you learn, which gives you more points, the more black bile it will use. Okay, moving on. Notice now these new skills. Oh, it's starting to get cool on us, and it's going to get so much better. You're going to have so much fun in this game. I can barely contain myself. Anyway, right, so it's unlocked now all of these skills, but we won't worry about them for now because the game's just told us we need to eat something to replenish our black bile. We actually didn't. If we weren't in the tutorial, we wouldn't have to, because it's only gone down a little bit, but the tutorial is telling us to. Okay, where do we get food from? The food that we're going to be eating to start with in the first many episodes will be things like nuts, berries, slugs and all sorts like that, just like the pilgrims to the New World would have been eating. They wouldn't have been eating cordon bleu French meals to start with, because they didn't even have a pot or a pan. So, right, to get food, right click on this bush and left click pick acorns. You will notice it starts picking acorns for us. Now you'll see all of these different icons, you'll see all of this information that's been brought up. Ether, mercury, sulfur, lead, heals, when gobbled. Don't worry about any of that for now. Just know this is food, and where it says heals, it will bring our red bar up by 10 points, our blue bar up by 25 points, our yellow bar up by 10 points, and the black bar up by 40 points. So that's how you can get some of these nuts. Okay, now we will be using these in a very good recipe once we get the recipe. For now though, let's show you how you can get another type of food. So that's the first type, nuts. Let's show you how you can get some berries. So if we now walk over here, we are looking for a berry bush. Oh, there's a berry bush. You'll get to know what all the different types of bushes and trees and all of that look like. There we go. Do you see this with all the little red berries? Right click on it, left click, pick berries. Okay, that only gave us 2 berries. Now there is another type of berry bush, and I want to show you that as well, in the hopes of being thorough. So what we'll do, we will walk back down south where I believe there are. See, there's many berry bushes, we haven't got to worry. But I just want to show you the other type of berry bush. Also, there is another type of nut. Over here we can see this tree. If we right click, we can gather a pine cone. This is a pine tree, so at least I think it's the pine tree. Anyway, left click, gather pine cone. You see it goes up with a timer. We now have a pine cone. If you right click on the pine cone, left click, remove cone scales, we have now been given a pine nut. That is eatable. These can be used for fuel, plus we can slot this item into our robe to give us the stats. But I'll get into all of that. Let's just try and stick to the tutorial for now. I'm getting ahead of myself. But I just want to show you how much there is to this game. I want to pick your interest. I do not want you to think for 1 second that this game is simple or not much to it. It is content rich and you're gonna love it. Right, okay, here is another type of berry bush. Right click on it, left click, pick berries. And you will notice we're now getting blackberries. All these different berries and nuts are used in different recipes. Don't worry about them for now. I will show you them all in a later episode. For now, we're just going to right click on a berry and left click eat. And the same you can do for the nuts. You right click and you get the option to eat. We will eat a berry.
Ah, your mind is fresh, your muscles ready, and your willpower has never been stronger. The Chief wishes for you to construct your first permanent object in Salem. Here, everything you build on claimed land lasts forever, or until another pilgrim decides to rip it down. His tribe has been gathering fish and drying them on drying racks. While you yourself lack the fishing skill, that does not mean you cannot help by building them another drying rack. Gather the branches from a nearby tree and construct a drying rack in the tribal lands.
Right, okay, notice when I ate that berry, it topped up all my bars, all back to full. Now all it's telling us to do is build a drying rack. So what we will do, we will go back over to where we started. It's telling us to build this drying rack in the tribal lands. So basically within this circle of tents. So we come over here. I'll zoom in. Now, okay, to build the drying rack, we will need 5 branches. Right click the tree, left click pick branch, and make sure you pick 5 branches. There we go. Okay, come over here, left click on the crafting icon, left click on the drying rack. Do you notice how when new items unlock, they all glow and turn green? So that tells you you've got new items. If you log off though and log back in, they will lose their green. So you'll lose the symbolism of them being new. Be warned of that. Okay, left click the drying rack. It will put a ghost shadow of the item. Left click. It then puts down a template. You then add the items to the template. So left click on a twig, left click, shift, and hold the shift key down. So the left shift key, hold it down, and then left click the drying rack. Now if you have a mouse wheel, scroll it down and it will auto add all the rest of the items for you. Or you can left click and drag and click them manually. That's the best way to do it though. Shift, hold the shift key down and roll your mouse button and it will add them all for you. The timer's just gone. I'm just going to finish the drying rack and then I will do a part 2 to this episode. Left click build.
Since your next task requires you to chop wood, you will need an axe. Craft a basic flint axe and equip it to prepare you for your next task.
Right, okay. I will do that in the next episode. So wherever you are in the world, God bless you and keep every single last one of you safe. I hope you're enjoying this new series and I'll see you back in a moment. Goodbye.